Hello, short story fans. Now, I obviously have a mask on because I have COVID, but I'm in isolation, so I can take the mask off. Speaking of isolation, I've done a ChatGPT battle once again, and we're going to do a story. So, first off, my story, and then second off, ChatGPT's story. So, it's a bit like it's about this kind of theme is imprisonment, because that's kind of my situation right now, day 2 of COVID. And I'm already beating it. So except for the croaky voice, I'm winning that COVID. Anyway, this story is called The Prisoner. This is my story. The flaking paint of the brick wall was a reminder of the enclosing solitude of the confinement that he was in. As he scratched his once luxurious gold locks, he considered where he had gone wrong. All had gone to plan. There was no way they could have ousted him, and yet here he was, listening to the measured drip, drip, drip of the squalid toilet cistern. He didn't know how to fix that. Maybe if he had not been born into riches, he would have learned a trade. He couldn't imagine being a plumber, though. He preferred others doing the dirty work. He only rolled his sleeves up for a photo shoot stunt. He smiled fondly as he remembered the time that he had abseiled down the Eiffel Tower in that Union flag suit. That had stuck it to those doubting Europeans. He could just as well do it all over again, looking down at his more reduced figure, far from being the grossly overweight man he had once been. Prison food, or lack of, had been a crash diet, but it certainly couldn't be described as food in his circles. But gone were the days of upsetting the staff and turning over the treats trolley, even though the treat was a grey gruel, which was said to be the leftovers from the soup kitchens. It certainly wasn't for a Bullingdon boy. There were times when he heard the tinny tapping from a distant cell. Maybe that was JRM trying to communicate in Morse code, trying to bribe him into not spilling the beans at his hearing. He knew all of his dirty secrets, and they were just too ripe to be left to rot on the vine. Maybe this would be his ticket back into the public's favour. His new, slimmer figure and a Jesus-like suffrage will surely bring him back. He truly was a man of the people now that they had taken everything that was once his. So that's my story. So here's what I told ChatGPT and ChatGPT's story. Write a story about a disgraced MP in a prison cell. Artificial intelligence. Once a celebrated member of Parliament, now a disgraced man, sat alone in a dark prison cell. The room was damp and smelled of mould, but the man's mind was preoccupied with the events that had led him here. He had been one of the most respected members of the House, praised by his colleagues for his eloquent speeches and his passion for justice. However, he had let his ambition consume him, and he had made a mistake that had cost him everything. Now he was left with nothing but his thoughts, and they were not kind to him. He thought of all the people he had let down, all the promises he had broken, and all the lies he had told. He had betrayed the trust of his constituents, his colleagues, and even his own family. The man sat in silence, consumed by his guilt and shame, until he heard footsteps outside his door. A guard opened the door and informed him that his lawyer had arrived. The man slowly rose from his cot and followed the guard out of the cell. As they walked down the corridor, the man thought about the life he had left behind. He knew that he had no chance of returning to his former position, but he also knew that he had to try to make amends. So there we have it. That's ChatGPT's effort. And I don't know, on the positive, I've got to say it was a bit easier to read the ChatGPT version than mine, but I've got to be honest. I didn't put any paragraphs in mine. Look at it. It's just a big clump of text. Whereas ChatGPT has bordering, so the formatting on ChatGPT is far better than mine. So remember that for the future. But I just wanted to get the words down as quickly as possible and compete with ChatGPT's 20-seconder. Anyway, put your voting down below in the comments and say which one you think is best. Hopefully the robots won't be taking over anytime soon, but it could be in the distant future. I hope this has been useful for you, and thank you very much for watching. And stay well, don't get this. Wear your mask. Mask up, look, do this. If you're near some coughing old people, put this on. They are not worried about their germs and spreading them. Thank you.